We first met Bear, an off-grid homesteader in the high desert of California, where he showed us his property where he built his house on a 20-acre parcel of arid land. Being that the Mojave is the driest desert in North America, it may seem an unlikely place to attempt to grow a garden. Bear is going to show you how he does that and what he's learned along the way. But how does he get enough water for a garden? He'll tell you that too.
So all of these totes are full. And this is all rainwater I captured in the rain this year. And I've pumped it down and filled these totes up. And now the manifold is connected to each one, but I only open up one valve at a time. So if anything springs a leak, I don't lose anything more than one tote of water. The tote behind you is also full of water and ready to go. And that's all rainwater.
And in here, this is your garden?
This is the Garden of Eating.
The Garden of Eating. Indeed.
Yes.
And this is where all the growing magic happens.
I tried to. Last year we had extreme heat waves and we had more 100+ degree temperatures than any other time I can remember, and a lot of my plants burned. And that was before I got the shade cloth on the garden addition over here. I just recently finished this up by myself, and I'll be planting in that side in this new trough area this year. That'll be the first time. This section of garden, it has been here now as many years as I've been here, except for one little aspect, and that is something I learned the hard way in my first year out here. If you plant anything edible out in the open, everything else is going to eat it. You'll never get any. And if you plant fruit trees like this out there in the open, the critters will kill this tree in less than a week's time. Completely wipe it clean, strip all the bark off of it, and eat all of the roots off the bottom. Now this is a grafted pear tree, but actually the rootstock was quince, a quince fruit. And that's this side right here with the leaves. Okay, now I don't use quince fruit, but the quince tree makes good rootstock for apple trees and pear trees. So this is all Bartlett pear that you're looking at with these flowers. But on here, I grafted this scion from my friend Andy's tree, which is Fuji apple. And you can see it's blossoming here and down here. So there's 10 blossoms on that one little branch that I grafted into the main trunk right there. So now with that, I was growing Bartlett pear and Fuji apple, but that wasn't good enough for me, so I kept on going. So here I added Gala apple, which came from my friend Sharon's tree, and I used a different type of grafting on here. There's a grafting tool that cuts a omega shape out of the branch, and then I strapped them together, and that one took, and as you can see, it's growing. Now up on the top up there is, I just did that graft all the way over on that far branch. That's a Fuji. I just did that last month, or the month before, in February, 19th of February, and that one has already got leaves growing on it. This one has multiple fruit on it. I also have ambrosia apple grafts, 1, 2, 3, that haven't shown much progress, but they're still green. So they may come in another year or maybe not.
Now I notice you have an Asian pear graft back here. How's that one doing?
Well, that one's not looking too good, but it's still solid. It's not loose, so I don't think it's completely a waste. I have to let it go a little while longer. And then once they take, I cut the plastic wrap off of them so that the air can get to the bark and that stuff, and they heal up faster. Just like a cut on a human. You keep the bandage on it until it's pretty much doesn't bleed anymore, and then you take the bandage off, let air get to it to help it heal faster.
Okay, and you've got a vegetable garden on over here?
Yeah, that's radishes and spinach over there, and cilantro.
And how successful have you been growing this stuff? It looks pretty healthy.
I grew this stuff through the winter out here in the desert by covering it with these boxes with visqueen on them.
So that's been a pretty successful endeavor then, it looks like.
It kept the heat in to keep the soil warm, and kept the moisture in so that all this stuff can grow. And I love coming through here and just plucking off a spinach leaf like this and just eating it.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Very sweet, delicious.
Well, there's nothing quite like homegrown fruits and vegetables.
Oh, the best. And I don't use chemicals.
Is it all organic?
Everything is organic, 100%.
Beautiful.
Coffee grinds, my own compost, worm castings. I grow my own worms in the garden.
Oh, you grow your own worms.
Uh-huh.
Okay. That's cool. And what's over in this bed here?
This is potatoes and cilantro.
Okay. And
And that one's potatoes also.
This is potatoes over here?
Yeah, now this one I recently did a video on. These potatoes are growing out of just potato peels.
Oh yeah?
I peeled potatoes to make mashed potatoes in the cabin. Then I took the peels out and I dug a trench and I put the peels in the trench. And these are the plants that came up out of it.
So you're growing full-on potato plants from just peels that will produce potatoes eventually?
Yes, they will. All you had to do was have any eye on any piece of the peel, and the eye will actually work as a potato seed and grow into another potato plant. And they call them tubers because potatoes actually grow on the tubes of the roots that are underground.
Great idea.
These have been growing all winter too. Spring now, these things will sprout up faster, and I'll be able to get them out. I just recently planted all the tomato plants in here. They need a good watering here before I go in. But I will be planting basil, sweet basil plants, about a foot away from each group of plants. And growing basil together with tomatoes, they're companion plants. Tomatoes taste a lot better when they grow, but also the basil will keep away cutworms that get on tomato plants and eat the tomatoes and the leaves and all that stuff. They won't come around if there's basil in the area.
Now you had a really disastrous year, was it last year?
Last year.
With tomatoes.
Yeah, I had them all planted out in that extension area, which I just finished enclosing this year, and they were out in the plain sun. But I had other plants out here that were all planted, and everything was devastated because we had 4 weeks of 101 to 110 degree temperatures every day, non-stop, 0% humidity. It was just dry and hot, and there was nothing you could do. I could come out here and water everything, soak down, and in an hour it was all dry again.
That's part of the reason you have this cloth up here, is because it does filter out some of the sun and the heat, right?
Yeah. This one here is a 30% shade cloth. So let's everything except 30% of the sunlight come through. That one over there on the roof is an 80%, and that blocks out 80% of the sunlight because that gets pretty hot over there. The one that's on the wall over there is a 10%, and that lets a lot more light in. So because I put the 80 on the top where the main heat would be bearing down on everything, I put a thinner one on the walls to let some light in. Because like tomatoes want 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. So that's why they're out here. As you can see, it's not super bright sun here. If you look on the plastic there, you can see where the sun is showing through, where there's a gap in between the cloth. But the rest of it is lit, but it's not as bright as that. If I didn't have any shade cloth up here, it would be too hot for these plants to grow in the desert.
And I notice you do have some grapes growing as well.
Oh yeah, those grow every year. That plant has been here since I started the garden, and I pluck off some really nice sweet seedless grapes off of that. That's a Simpson green seedless, and you can already see clusters of grapes showing up on the ends of the branches up there.
As you can see, growing a garden in the desert can be difficult. You learn as you go and learn as you grow. But with enough knowledge and persistence, it is possible to grow fruits and vegetables out here. But, like Bear said, you've got to enclose these plants within a structure, as any creature that sees them will most certainly eat them before you have a chance to. Such is life in the desert. Unless, perhaps, you're growing a mulberry tree. This is a mulberry tree that Bear planted, and it looks like it's doing Okay so far.
So this is a mulberry tree and this is a male tree. The shape of the leaf looks like a male organ, and the female mulberry tree actually has just the oval shaped leaf.
Check out the pronghorn behind me. I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about gardening in the desert with Bear. Don't forget to give me a like on the video, share, and subscribe. Until next time, this is the Rockhopper. I'll see ya.